Hi everyone. On behalf of HDIN Research, we are pleased to present our deep dive analysis into the global magnesium industry chain, covering the pivotal period from 2020 to our current 2026 outlook. This report focuses on the strategic reshaping of the industry and how technical evolution is reconfiguring global supply patterns. We begin with the core takeaway. Magnesium is no longer just a commodity additive for aluminum. It has transitioned into a strategic structural metal. Since 2020, we've witnessed four structural shifts: the supply shocks of 2021, the classification of magnesium as a, quote, critical raw material by major economies, the mandatory push for decarbonization, and the demand explosion from NEV gigacasting and robotics. In this first section, we will establish the baseline by examining the global resource landscape and the current production concentrations that define the market today. Looking at the data from the USGS, Russia holds the largest magnesite reserves at nearly 30% of the global total. However, there is a distinct gap between reserve holdings and actual metal production. While countries like Slovakia and Brazil hold significant deposits, the market remains highly sensitive to regional output fluctuations. The reality of the industry is what we call China 90+. China accounts for over 91% of global primary magnesium production, with the Shanxi hubs of Yulin and Fugu alone contributing 2/3 of the national total. This creates a high level of export dependency for regions like the EU, which relies on these imports for 97% of its needs. This multidimensional comparison plots reserves against geopolitical risk and production volume. We see a fragmented landscape. China leads in production despite moderate reserves, while Russia holds massive resources that remain underutilized due to geopolitical complexities. Meanwhile, the US and EU are focusing on recycling to fill their domestic supply voids. Moving to the complications, the industry has faced significant headwinds, ranging from supply chain vulnerabilities to the emergence of international trade barriers. The 2021 to 2023 period served as a stress test. China's dual-control energy policy led to a 400% price surge almost overnight. This volatility forced Western OEMs to move magnesium from their, quote, procurement lists to their strategic risk lists, sparking a search for alternative sourcing models. In the United States, the situation is unique. Despite high anti-dumping duties intended to protect domestic industry, the bankruptcy of the last major producer in 2025 has left the country 100% dependent on imports. Consequently, the U.S. Department of Defense is now funding alternative extraction technologies to ensure supply security. The European Union is taking a regulatory approach. Through the Critical Raw Materials Act and the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, the EU is essentially imposing a carbon tax on high-emission magnesium. This systematically neutralizes the price advantage of traditional smelting methods. In Section 3, we address the industry's response, how technology and upstream diversification are providing answers to these complications. A technology war is underway. The traditional pigeon process, while cost-effective, is under immense ESG pressure. We are seeing a shift toward automated electrolysis and Baowu's vertical retort innovations, which aim to lower carbon footprints and labor intensity simultaneously. New projects are emerging globally, from Latrobe's fly ash extraction in Australia to Magrathia's seawater projects in the US. The trend is moving toward waste-to-metal and mine-to-metal integration to bypass traditional mining barriers. Baowu Magnesium, formerly Nanjing Yunhai, has emerged as the global consolidator. By integrating with the Baowu steel ecosystem, they are moving away from being a simple metal seller to becoming a lightweighting solution provider, with a massive capacity goal of 500,000 tons by 2025. Secondary magnesium is the industry's most effective decarbonization lever. Companies like Magantech are leading this space, as recycled magnesium uses only 5% of the energy of primary production and is exempt from many carbon-based trade barriers. Our final section looks at the demand side, where automotive, robotics, and energy storage are redefining the consumption ceiling. The mg/Au ratio is the key metric here. When the price of magnesium is less than 1.5 times that of aluminum, adoption accelerates. We are seeing major NEV players like Cirrus and Tesla increasingly use magnesium for integrated die casting to achieve weight reduction targets. Humanoid robotics represent a high-growth frontier. Magnesium's damping capacity makes it ideal for robot limbs. While the hype suggests massive volumes, the technical challenge remains managing fatigue, strength, and corrosion in high-cycle environments. Perhaps the most transformative potential lies in solid-state hydrogen storage. Magnesium hydrides offer exceptional storage density. This could eventually transition magnesium from a structural metal to a critical energy carrier commodity. In high-value niches, magnesium-lithium alloys are enabling the next generation of foldable electronics. In the medical field, biodegradable magnesium stents are becoming a viable alternative to permanent implants as they match the modulus of human bone. Looking ahead to 2030, we project the market size to nearly double to $10 billion. Growth will be sustained by energy cost stability and breakthroughs in corrosion resistance, which remain the two primary hurdles for wider adoption. This matrix summarizes the landscape. While technical and application opportunities are abundant, they are balanced by risks in price volatility and the tightening web of international carbon regulations. In summary, the industry has transitioned from a, quote, survival phase to a, quote, strategic integration phase. Success in 2026 and beyond will be defined by three factors: carbon footprint control, downstream OEM partnerships, and supply chain resilience. Our analysis of global flows highlights the importance of the integrated production base in China. Under the One China principle, the logistical and resource synergy across these regions remains the backbone of the global magnesium supply chain. Thank you for your time. For deeper content or customized market research, please feel free to reach out to our team at HDIN Research via sales@hdinresearch.com.